Hey lovely sexy gaming people, right, so here we have Space Marines Primaris Apothecary. I treated myself. So I've got a firstborn Apothecary, we've got the Apothecary Biologus that came with Leviathan, I've got my Deathwing Apothecary, I've got an Apothecary with my Raven Wing. So yeah, I suppose it was time to get a Primaris Apothecary, and I always cut my blister packs like so, because then that gives me a little tray for when I cut this chappy out, having some options. Right, let's get the destructions out. Right, here we go. Okay, so we get a bifold for the instructions. It gives you a couple of options by the look of it. So the Nartheseum on the armature appears to be an option. And you get a couple of other options. That's a bolt pistol, heavy bolt pistol, and or a, I'm assuming, a handheld reductor or redactor, whatever it is they use, call it, for pulling out the gene seed. Because he's not got an Nartheseum assembly attached to his forearm like some of the older sculpts, we've got this apparatus attached to his backpack here, along with the lamp, and then we've got, like I say, some sort of handheld removal device for getting the gene seed out. I will say that if you do go for the bolt pistol, the holster that the bolt pistol comes in does have a pistol grip attached. So if you're going to put the bolt pistol in his hand, then I would suggest, or would you really need to? Because he's got two holsters. He's got one dangling down his front and then one on his leg. I suppose you could use either holster for either whatever, you know, he's not using. So yeah, you wouldn't, I don't think you'd need to remove the pistol grip from the other holster. Yeah, and he's got his vials and storage devices attached to his hips as well, which is quite nice. You do get a choice of heads as well. So yeah, this is actually a really nice kit with regards to as character, you know, for choices. I will paint him green, and then I will give him white accents for Apothecarian to mark him as Apothecary. I tend not to paint my Apothecaries white. So this is the Biologus, Apothecary Biologus from Leviathan, and I do much prefer to just paint my Apothecaries in chapter colours and give them appropriate markings which then denote that they are Apothecary. So I'll paint the helmet white, and like the trim on the shoulder pauldrons, I'll give them a white tabard, and then obviously the pistol markings, etc., will have white on them. He seems to have on one of his arms something akin to this little readout monitor on his forearm. So I will paint that white as well. Let's have a look at the plastic. So you get 2 sprues. As I said, no, I didn't say actually, sorry. It's a 2017 sculpt. But as I said, you do get 2 pistol holsters. So you get one there attached to his leg, and then there's one just at the front here, on obscuring his tabard slightly. He is stood over a marine. I can't see any iconography on the marine, which is nice. So there's nothing there to turn around and say you've got to paint him a specific colour. The head, don't know if you can make out the head. The head comes with a nice little augmetic lens for over one of the eyepieces. The bolt pistol looks good, and as I said, the little screen that's on his forearm is just there. These are the 2. So you get an option of either a buzzsaw or a hypodermic for the armature, and then you can have a little drill, or did I see something else? I think I saw something else as well, option wise. You get a few purity seals. Here's his little reductor for grabbing the gene seed. There's a couple of bits that you need to put onto that. Yeah, it's a nice sculpt. It's the first. This is, you know, I've not had this apothecary before, which is quite nice. So all of my apothecaries are different. And I like it that way. I like it that they're all different, that they all have different poses, etc. Anyhow, come back in a sec and we will get this guy built. I might see if I can dig out a DA shoulder pad to go on him, and then put his apothecary shoulder pad on the opposite arm. Yeah, so that goes on the left arm, so you get a clear shoulder pad on the right. Okie dokie then, all good. Come back and we'll get him built. Hey ho. Right, so we're going to get our apothecary built. So I'm going to position the scenic base to the 40mm round base, just about there, I think. Yeah, so obviously I'm just gluing this down so that by the time I come to stick the apothecary to it, it's well and truly stuck. Right. Now, so we get our bifold destructions, and we are starting off with both halves of the torso. There's a lot of extra detail on this that I kind of missed first time round. So this skull on the back of the armour there. So we're going to end up with that. Then we're coming in with the left leg, and that has a plain sculpted front, plain front to it. Yep. I'm also going to do the other leg as well, so that that's had a little bit of a chance to go off. Oops. Before I glue it into place. And then this side has these tools, medical tools and vials. May slot on to a piece into a hole just there, like so. Right. Now, hopefully, in theory, these bits should actually fit really well. Okay. Now, so there seems to be just a tiny little area on the side of the gorget just here that you will attach these to. It is a very small area. So just to make sure that you've glued it in place well enough. So there you go. So don't know if you can just make out those little bits on the side of the gorget. And then on this side we have these items now. Actually, they go there. So they go on the front. There's a little tab and a hole for them to go into. So, and those little vials have got purity seals on. So, I'm not going to glue the backpack in place. Simply because I want access to paint some of the pouches, etc., that are on the back belt. but this is the lamp assembly. That goes onto the backpack. And then there's this little assembly here, and I will just need to cut off the little bit that goes onto this as well, but just gluing those into place. All done. Now we have, so I've had to repair this little vial on the wrist string because it was really fragile when I came to like remove the mold lines, and it snapped really easily, so just be careful of that. And then this bolter is going to attach just there. Right, and there are some more bits because I've used the reductor to do that. I'm going to glue the head in place, and I've gone for the helmeted head. I just prefer helmeted Marines. I'm going to go with part 25. Which kind of looks like a cattle prod, a taser on a movable arm is what this one looks like. And that, there's a little hole in the machinery just on this joint, and that's where you are going to drop in your extra armature. Like so. So that's the backpack finished. Then I've got a couple of little bits that I need to clip out for the reductor, if that's what we're calling it. What then happens is these go onto the reductor on the lower part. So you might think that they slot into the grooves here. They don't. They go onto the lower part, just there. And then again, this is what that will look like. Let's get that lamp out of the way. So as you can see, they go onto the lower part of the reductor. Now, let's pop this arm on. So this arm pretty much goes down right, just literally down the side of the body. So as it's hanging loose there. And then the other one, our apothecary, is checking out the gene seed he's just removed. From his fallen comrade. And there you go. So these should all align. The hand containing the gene seed, the magnifiers, and then the Space Marine head, they should all align so that they're looking at that. Then we have the apothecary's shoulder pad going on. And that goes on just there on the right hand pad, right hand shoulder. And then I've picked out a Dark Angel's shoulder pad to go on the left. And that is our apothecary. And do you know what? No, I'm going to keep him separate from the base for the time being. Anyway, that's our apothecary, and the backpack will just go on like so. So there you go. That's what he looks like. Hope you do join me in the next video. All right, take care. Bye-bye.